The sound of traffic fades as Deepti steps into the quiet home of Giridhar, a retired lawyer, on a bright Monday morning. Her mind buzzes with apprehension. She has worked as a caregiver for over 2 years, but this is her first time caring for someone with Alzheimer's. She isn't sure what to expect. The house is a mix of charm and melancholy. Framed photographs line the walls, snapshots of a family once vibrant and whole. Dust motes drift lazily through the air, illuminated by beams of sunlight streaming through the windows. In the living room, Giridhar is seated in an armchair, flipping through a case file with a look of intense concentration. His once neat gray hair is slightly disheveled, his hands trembling just enough to make the pages quiver. The intensity in his expression suggests he's still preparing for a trial, one that happened years ago. Deepti clears her throat softly. "Good morning, Mr. Giridhar." He looks up, startled. His gaze sharpens momentarily. "Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" She offers a polite smile, her tone calm and measured. "I'm Deepti. Your son and daughter-in-law asked me to stay with you while they're away." His eyes narrow. "Away? Where have they gone?" "To a wedding." "Your nephew Dev's wedding," Deepti replies, hoping the familiar name will anchor him. "Dev?" Giridhar repeats, a flicker of recognition passing over his face before it's replaced by confusion. "Ah, yes, Dev, always getting into trouble as a child. Can't believe he's old enough to marry." He chuckles, but then his brow furrows again. "But where is Prabha? She wouldn't leave me with a stranger." Deepti hesitates. This is the moment she dreaded. "Prabha isn't here, sir. She passed away some time ago." Silence hangs between them, heavy and fragile. Giridhar's lips move, forming words he doesn't speak. Then he mutters, "No, no. She was just here this morning. She made tea." Deepti knows better than to argue. Instead, she pivots. "Would you like me to make tea for you? I can follow your recipe." "Recipe?" His face brightens. "Do you know my secret? The key is cardamom, just a pinch. Prabha always said too much ruins it." Deepti nods, sensing an opening to connect. "Let's make it together. You can teach me." In the kitchen, Giridhar moves with a mix of precision and hesitation, pulling out ingredients and muttering instructions. "First, the water. Then sugar. But not too much, we don't want syrup." As the tea brews, he reminisces. "Prabha always made breakfast. She said my cooking was a disaster waiting to happen. But tea was mine to perfect." Deepti listens intently, realizing that for Giridhar, these routines aren't just habits. They are anchors to a world that is slipping away. As they sip their tea, Giridhar suddenly asks, "Do you know the story of the orange box?" Deepti shakes her head. "Prabha had this orange box for storing flattened rice. She called it her treasure chest. She'd make the best snacks from it." His voice grows quieter. "I've been looking for that box. Do you know where it is?" Deepti hesitates, unsure how to respond. "Maybe we can look for it later," she offers. Giridhar nods, satisfied for now. As the hours pass, Deepti learns more about Giridhar. He was a fiercely dedicated lawyer, passionate about justice. His shelves are lined with books on law and philosophy, their spines worn from years of use. He recounts cases he fought, moments when he stood up for the underdog. But every story circles back to Prabha. "She was my greatest critic and my biggest supporter," he says, his voice tinged with pride. "When I was a junior lawyer, my office was, let's say, less than ideal. Cracked table, peeling walls. I was embarrassed to bring her there. But you know what she did? She painted a tree on the crack and told me it was a sign, a branch reaching for the sky, she called it." Deepti smiles, picturing the scene. "She sounds incredible." "She was," Giridhar says softly. She made me believe I was enough, even when I didn't. In the afternoon, while cleaning, Deepti finds a small, crumpled note on Giridhar's desk. It reads, "Prabha, the wife is dead." She freezes, unsure if she should show it to him. Before she can decide, Giridhar enters the room. "What's that?" he asks sharply. "It's just a note," Deepti replies carefully, trying to hide it. But Giridhar snatches it from her hand. As he reads it, his face crumples. "Who wrote this?" he demands. "You did," Deepti says gently. "It's a reminder." "A reminder? Of what?" His voice rises, his confusion turning to anger. "Why would I write something so cruel?" Deepti places a hand on his arm. "Because sometimes you forget, and it hurts all over again." Giridhar sinks into a chair, clutching the note. Tears fill his eyes. I thought she made breakfast this morning. I could smell the flattened rice." Deepti kneels beside him. "I know it feels real. Memories like that, they're gifts. They let us hold on to the people we love." He nods slowly, the tears spilling over. "I miss her so much." As the sun sets, Deepti suggests they sit on the terrace. The evening air is cool, the sky streaked with hues of orange and pink. Giridhar seems calmer now, lost in thought. "She had a rule, you know," he says after a long silence. "A rule?" Deepti prompts. "Rule number 1, no matter what you are enough." He smiles faintly. "She used to say it whenever I doubted myself. Giri, you're enough. And if anyone says otherwise, they can answer to me." Deepti laughs softly, imagining Prabha's fiery spirit. "I didn't always believe her," Giridhar admits. "But she never gave up on me. Even when I forgot to believe in myself, she remembered for both of us." When Deepti prepares to leave that night, Giridhar barely notices. His son has returned home, and Giridhar seems lost in thought, staring at a photo of Prabha on the mantle. As she steps outside, she hears him say softly, "Good night, Deepti." Walking home, Deepti feels a mix of exhaustion and gratitude. She had come to care for Giridhar, but she leaves feeling like she's learned something profound. Love doesn't fade with memory. It lives on, not just in the past, but in the present moments of joy, sorrow, and connection. As she steps into the night, she whispers to herself, "Rule number 1, you are enough."